All right, next up, that's all right. I'll get mine on eBay. Uh, Next up is Austin from Grasswire. And we first met Austin in Salt Lake City when we visited that fine city a couple of months back as part of our New Tech tour, and was very impressed. So here's Austin presenting for you all here in San Francisco. Now, Austin, as you're plugging in, let me ask you quickly: are you relocating or just visiting, or?
Yeah, so we've been out here for the summer, and we're headed back for a little bit, for about a year. I'm getting married, and then we've got some school to finish up, and then we'll probably be heading out this way. So,
Got it.
all right.
So whenever you're ready, we'll start the clock for Grasswire.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so we are Grasswire, and the name comes from Grassroots Newswire. So what we do is we let everyday people create a news report by voting on and fact-checking social media in real time. So the news is kind of getting really close to this tipping point where finally we're getting information from everyday people instead of from corporations and governments, and that's really, really important. But the problems are that one, that information is really difficult to find, and two, it's even harder to verify that information. So Grasswire solves both of those problems. I don't know why it's not up. Uh, Gosh dang it. Where are you? All right, we did this before.
Hey guys, what's up?
It's in mirror.
Nope.
Gosh dang it.
1 second, guys. Fixing it. Fixing it. Oh, thanks guys for stopping it. Okay.
Utah.
I'm from Southern California, actually. Hey guys.
Okay, we're good.
Almost. Right on.
Awesome. Sorry about that. Yeah, so the idea is that we let everyday people vote on and fact check social media content in real time, and by doing so, create a news report that's accessible to everybody. So here we have some sample data from when we parsed the Boston Marathon bombings and that aftermath. So in this lane right here, that's Twitter. So that pulls in Twitter, Twitter photos, Vine, for the hashtag that the user puts in. This is media, so that will be Instagram, YouTube, and that flows in real time. The parser's turned off right now, but if it were on, then you would see these kind of flowing, and as soon as any new information comes into those APIs, you would see it here. We've already highlighted this one, and this is our highlights column. So this is basically saying, of all of that data, this is the best stuff. So basically, users, by watching all of the data come in, they can say, this is the best content for that given event. So that's pretty cool, but what's really cool is what we can do after the fact. So we have this summary view. So this is some of the data from the Boston Marathon so this one right here was the tweet that had the most highlights or the most likes, and so on and so forth. So we can show it to a bunch of users, get that data back, and then say, hey, this is the best data. So it's almost like a Reddit plus a Storify, if that makes sense. And then you can go to this view, and you can see oldest first. So if you want to go from the very beginning of the event to today, you can kind of scroll down and understand that story. And newest first is the same idea, but that updates in real time. So as people that are watching the fast lane that we looked at earlier are favoriting stuff, this shows up, and it's dynamic, so you never have to refresh anything. Um, so that's basically the idea. But some of the ramifications that we've seen are really cool. We launched Grasswire on accident, kind of. We just put a link in a Hacker News thread. It was just Fastlane at the time, but we had 6,000 users the first day, and then the next day we had 10,000 users, and it just kept growing so that we had to kind of shut it down so we could actually build it to scale. It was just kind of our minimum viable product at the time. But what that does is if we click on the detail view, let's do this one here, you can really interact with that piece of data. We have comments, fact checks, you can highlight it, you can share it, and sharing it brings you right back to this page so that you can see, oh, there's this piece of data, and then the best stuff will load behind that. So really the power behind it is that it's news that some kid in the ghetto in the Bronx can influence just as much as the Queen of England can. And we think that that's really powerful, that by bringing people together in the same place, you can create news that's more compelling and more interesting than anything else out there. And another really cool thing is that if there's a breaking international event, we can have an entire news organization on it in one click. So we can spin up another instance, and we've been watching some of the Egypt and things like that. So it's almost like an instant newsroom. And I think that's my time.
So Austin, how is this different from like setting up a Google alert on certain things and tying in a hashtag and just having a feed of stuff that way?
So first of all, the reason Fastlane took off so well is because it's real time. So you can just sit there and literally watch a news event as it develops. But even more importantly than that is as everything's coming in, so as you're watching that fire hose, you're getting the best content out of it. So you can see with one glance, hey, this is the most interesting stuff for this story, and you know that it's been fact-checked by other people just like you, so that even CNN is watching Twitter, and they have interns that feed CNN the wrong information all the time. But we kind of crowdsource that fact-checking right along with the content aggregation. Yeah. Have we what? Yeah, so we've talked to a few local news agencies, and they've kind of been drooling over it. Basically, the smaller news agencies, their biggest problem right now is they can't get people to stay on their page. So if we sold them a license to the user side of it, then they would be very interested in that. We're not sure if that's something we want to do quite yet. As far as have we talked to Reuters or AP, no, we haven't talked to anybody kind of to use it on the back end, but I'm sure there's potential there. Oh yeah, so there's a company called Demotics, and what they do is they take the photos, the top photos from events, they get the rights to it, and then they sell it to the New York Times or to AP or to Reuters or to whoever else. And they actually used our first beta, and they loved it, and they keep asking us when are we going to fully release, which is in 2 weeks, by the way. You should sign up at grasswire.com.
So is this all dynamic, as in your best of, do any of you guys handpick that, or is it entirely automated?
No, so it's entirely automated, and it's like Reddit. So it's the aggregate of what everybody's saying. So me personally, I can't even well, I could, but I don't influence the site any more than any one of you could. So it really is crowdsourced in the purest sense.
And if you join, do you have to choose to share a particular tweet, or does it automatically aggregate what you've tweeted and put it on the site?
No, so how it works is you request a hashtag or a search term, and then we start pulling that in for you. Just because of API limitations and because we're not ready to scale yet, we're not just letting you create your own. But so say, for example, Grasswire has 3 events happening. You can see those 3 events, and right now we'd probably be parsing something about NSA, something about Egypt. If anybody knows what's going on in Bulgaria, there's some crazy stuff going on out there right now. But that way, everybody who's watching that event is watching the same information. Does that make sense?
So you guys potentially can pick up where Google Reader left off.
Sorry, say that again?
You could pick up where Google Reader left off.
Exactly. Yeah, so if you like Google Reader, I don't know.
I was wondering if there's any reputation system or something like that for people participating.
Yeah, there's not right now. There could be in the future. We haven't ruled that out, but no. So kind of the reason that a lot of the sites have the reputation, the Hacker News or the Reddit or whatever, is so that you're incentivized to come back to the site and to contribute. We have not had any issues with that. We put up a really bad version of it, and we had more people than we could possibly support on our dev servers from day one. So for us, it's just a matter of getting it out.
You have to ask a question.
So how are you funded? When does the money run out? And what do you need help with?
So we are completely bootstrapped to this point. We won some random business competition in Utah. We took like second place behind a popcorn seasoning company. I'm serious. I'm 100% serious. And right now I'm living in the back of my Honda Civic, and Garrett has an apartment. So we're completely self-funded, and we're looking to raise a $500,000 seed round in the next little bit. So.
Nice. What year?
What year?
The Honda Civic.
Maybe I should say we're looking to start raising.
Awesome, we're out of time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Grasswire.